Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I will be testing out some cult beauty favorites. I have the Bronze Seduction palette here from Mcgrath Labs, Tarte Shape Tape, as well as a new foundation brush. Now I know none of these products are new, even though they are new for me. They've been around for a while. Shape Tape has been around for years and it's the first time that I'm even trying it. But I am hoping that if you already own this palette, maybe you'll be inspired to pick it up, play around with it. And if you don't already own this palette, then this video should give you some insight. I created this look that you see right here, very bronze goddess inspired. So I'm going to take you through the entire get ready with me process. And then at the end, I will come back and I will share my final thoughts on all of these new products. My Mcgrath Labs box arrived yesterday and I was actually about to get ready to take some photos downstairs. So I almost waited to film a first impression style video. I'm so glad that I didn't. I'm always slightly hesitant to film first impressions because I would just rather really familiarize myself with a product before I form an opinion, share a review. I think it's more fair to do it that way. So I dug through all of the confetti, which I could see hanging out of the box. It's still all over my floor. And when I pulled out the palette, my first thought was, oh my gosh, this is really heavy. It's incredibly substantial, really beautiful. I immediately felt a little bit better about the price tag, but I did pick this up on sale, 25% off, and wow, it is a gorgeous palette. These colors are so beautiful. I was drawn to this palette more than any other Mcgrath Labs palette. My first palette of hers, it's so exciting. So I did play around with this yesterday, which was very helpful in understanding how these shadows work. Let me go ahead and peel this off. It's time. Ooh. Yes. So satisfying. Every time. Ooh. I love that it has a giant mirror. That is so helpful. And it's very crisp and clear, and the little beveled edge. Oh my goodness, the details. Wow. There is some serious construction to this palette. I am so impressed. I just applied these eye gels since we'll be doing eyeshadow first. I figured they would be great eyeshadow catchers. They contain green tea, bergamot, white mulberry. So they're supposed to be energizing. Ooh, I can feel them slipping. I think there's a great debate in the eye patch world. I never know which way to put these, whether to do the fat rounded side inside or outside, because this little pointy side could easily go in the tear duct area as well. I never know, but this is just generally the way I like to apply them. I'm going to prime my eyelids with a little bit, teeny tiny bit of this Mcgrath Labs concealer. I am going to be using Shape Tape today, but since I'm not really familiar with that product yet, I don't want to mess up the entire look just in case. And I do love the Mcgrath Labs concealer, so I figure we'll just go with what works for now. I've picked up my fluffy brush and I'm going to do the best I can to recreate the look I did yesterday because it turned out really nice. So I'm going into this shade right here. This really pretty medium brown. It almost looks like it has a pink undertone. It's very beautiful. And I'm going to buff that in the crease, and I'm concentrating the color on the outside. When I was playing around yesterday, I was happy to see that there wasn't a lot of fallout, but I did think that as pigmented as these shadows are, they were slightly less blendable than the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. Now I'm not so sure. I think they're pretty even, Steven. I think that blended out better for me today. I'm not sure why. Next, I'm going into this beautiful center bronze shade. So glittery, so stunning, but let me tell you the big mistake that I made yesterday. So I picked up this brush, which I generally use for shimmery eyeshadows, pigments, anything like that. It's more compact. I took this shader brush and I tried to pick up this bronze eyeshadow and apply it to the lid. Let me show you the difference. not much impact. Not a lot of impact at all. And then I immediately thought, you know what? I bet it's best applied with fingers. I'm not familiar with these palettes, and because it hasn't been a brand that's really been on my radar, I haven't watched any reviews. Then I applied with my finger. Huge difference, tons of impact. Beautiful, just opaque gold shimmer across the lid. Absolutely stunning. Now here's where I'm a little bit confused, and perhaps you guys can help me out. I'm wondering if I wet a brush like this, if it would give me that same intense color payoff. I'm always kind of hesitant to wet eyeshadows unless I know for sure what's going to happen, because sometimes it can, you know, affect the way they apply later on. So I don't want to wet these if I don't have to. They're great with the finger, but I guess maybe my finger, I have pretty small fingers, it doesn't go right in the corner, and I can't be really precise with the application with my finger. So now I am picking up that brush, and I'm just trying to blend it in a little bit. Get that inner corner. Bring it right up to the crease. I think it's easier once you've applied it with your finger to kind of manipulate. Next, I've picked up this tapered brush. This is an old brush from Chanel, but any tapered brush will do. And I'm going into this rich chocolatey brown right here. This is so beautiful. And this is going to add depth to the outer V. Of course, we have to blend that out. Instead of going in with my original fluffy brush, I want to start with this compact fluffy, because as I blend, I don't want it to get too blown out. Now going in with the original fluffy brush, I'm just going to make sure that's nice and soft. Using fingers again, I'm going into this iridescent shade right here in the bottom corner. It looks almost like a gorgeous iridescent pearl. I was so surprised what happened when I put it on the center of the lid. It became this bright, beautiful yellow. Slight flecks of green, maybe a little bit blue. I'm just popping this in the center. So you can tell, I'm sure, that this is more of an evening look. But really, I think this is more of an evening palette. I am going to keep playing around with it, and if you guys would like, I can do maybe a 3 looks, 1 palette video in the future once I've had a little bit more time to come up with looks. But there are just so many shimmery, glittery shades. If I were just going out for the day, this wouldn't be the first palette that I would grab, even though it's so much fun. So now I am picking up this little precision brush. I'm going into this gorgeous champagne shade right here. And this is going on the inside inner tear duct area. I'm kind of wrapping it around. I'm taking it really on the inside on the top, and then wrapping it around the bottom. The lids are now done, so this is a great stopping point for the eyes. I'm going to go ahead and remove my eye gels. So my skin is nice and plump. I see a few little glitter flecks on my cheeks, so I'm going to wipe them away with my little makeup wipe. I'm using the I Am Beauty Care wipes. These are great because they have vitamin C and skincare in them. So this will help keep the look nice and precise. To prime my face, I'm going in with the By Terry Cellular Rose Brightening CC Serum. I have the shade Rose Elixir. So I'm just going to pump that on the back of my hand. And I generally just apply this to the center of the face and then blend out. It gives the skin the most beautiful ethereal sheen. Kind of that lit from within. It's so soft and subtle once you go on top with foundation. You can barely see it, but the By Terry is nice because it does have skincare. I'm excited to share this next part. You might think that I have completely lost my mind, but you have to trust me. Trust the process. So I'm going in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation. Whenever I'm doing a dramatic eye, a heavy eye, glittery eye, I don't like to go in with a tinted moisturizer. You know, I feel like you have to have the full look. If you're gonna do a glamorous eye, you need to have a full face. So I'm going in with this. But I sunless tanned twice this week, so I'm pretty dark. I'm gonna do about a pump and a half of the foundation, and I'm mixing in this liquid bronzer. I tried this yesterday just kind of on a whim. I figured the worst thing that would happen is I would just have to wash my face, but it worked, so it was really good. This is the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Glow Liquid Bronzer in the shade Warmth. I also have Faux Tan, but I think this is a better color. Usually I use this as a bronzer, so I will apply my foundation and then I'll blend this on top, you know, like a cream bronzer. But I'm actually going to do a full pump. I'm gonna see what that looks like. What I noticed yesterday is that you can pump a little bit more than you'd expect. So that looks okay. I'm gonna pump like a half pump more, be a few drops. You can kind of mix and customize as you need to, which is great. I don't sunless tan my face, I sunless tan my body. I have a few foundations that are pretty dark, but I never like to commit to my dark shade, and especially, you know, if I go in with 2 coats of sunless tanner, I'm too dark. So my foundation ends up looking too light, and I found that this is a great hack. I think that should work. Maybe, you know what? One more drop. Okay, there we go. That should work. Okay, that looks better. I love that liquid bronzer. You can just customize your shade. And you'll see this is going to match me so much better. Some of you guys have even pointed it out that my face still looks way too light. I try to warm up my face with bronzer, but if I'm really tan on my body, it just looks funny. So this is the best way to go. Today I'm using Marc Jacobs The Face 1 to blend out my foundation. I think this might be the 4th or 5th time I've used this foundation brush. I am completely in love. I am so obsessed with this foundation brush. I think I even prefer this to the Face 3, which I love. This brush is slightly less dense, and it's so soft. So fast, just like the other Marc Jacobs brush. So what do you think of the color? I think this matches me so much better. And it is tricky to find a great color match in this Airbrush Flawless Foundation. I settled with 6 Neutral, which I think works for me for the most part. But if I have a fresh tan and I'm really, really dark, it still looks too light. Another thing about this liquid bronzer is that it has a slight golden sheen, which looks beautiful on the skin, but it looks even better mixed into foundation. Moment of truth, I'm excited. I have not tried the Shape Tape before. I ordered shade 12 beige, fair beige, 12B. It says fair beige. Oh my gosh. All right, let's see what happens. I'm gonna start there and so it's a very pigmented, just like the Pat McGrath Labs. The same thing happened to me yesterday, but as long as you keep blending it out, it's fine. You know, at first it looks very, very light, and I do want some brightness under my eye. Oh yeah, that wasn't bad at all. Ooh, it's pretty. So far, so good. Oh God.
Far so good.
I jinxed myself. Oh gosh, that's what happens to anything I drop on the floor. I pick it up and it's covered with hair. I have a shed all over this floor. I seriously need to vacuum. That's what I'm gonna do after I film. That's what our lives have become. Instead of getting ready for a night out on the town, I'm getting ready and then I'm going to clean. I really like it. I think it looks really pretty. I don't think it has dried down too matte. I know I've heard that complaint about this concealer. I think it gives good coverage. And I'm happy that I picked out a decent shade. It gives me brightness, but I don't think it's too much. I think they have so many shades available, maybe 40 shades of this concealer, so it's kind of tricky. I bought this when Ulta was having their 21 days of beauty event. So it was $13. Couldn't believe it. I am going to use my Givenchy loose powder. I picked this up for the first time in a while, and I remembered why I love it so much. Ooh, so pretty. The powder is all white, but as soon as you apply it to the skin, it truly is translucent. It doesn't give a white cast, it just sort of sets the makeup, and it's so finely milled. My under eyes don't look dry or crepey whatsoever, but it did set my makeup to a pretty flat matte. So I'm going to go in now with bronzer. I'm using this old Chanel brush, and I am going to use this Terracotta Light. This is the shade 04 Deep Golden from Guerlain. One of my favorite bronzers. I'm just gonna add some color to my cheeks. Since I'm going for a very bronzed look, I've picked up my peach blush from Laura Mercier. I'm going to use this because it does have a very slight golden sheen to it. And I don't want a super pink cheek. We might as well finish the face. So I'm going in now with this Guerlain Terracotta Skin Stick Illuminator. This is the shade Gold. One of my favorite products of all time. It is so beautiful. So I'm just going to use my finger and then tap it on the cheeks. This cream highlight makes your skin look beautiful. It is just the most gorgeous, kind of natural highlight. They have a couple different shades, but I just love the gold because it's not a yellow gold. It almost just looks like skin, which makes it a little bit more natural. Has a good smell to it as well. This makes me want to go to the beach. I'm applying to the center points of the face, so a little bit on the chin. I'm also going to do a little bit above my eyebrows. Now that my face is complete, I can finish the eyes, so I picked up that tapered brush again and I wiped it off on a towel to remove that dark eyeshadow. I'm going into this original brown. I'm going to buff this underneath the lower lash line. I just filled in my eyebrows. I did top black liquid eyeliner and mascara so that I can take this little precision brush and picking up this champagne shade in the corner, I'm going to highlight the brow bone. I think this is such a pretty brow highlight. Face is done, eyes are done, the last step is lips, and I have another new product here. I'm so excited. So I'm going to fill in my lips with this Laura Mercier Baby Lips lip liner, and here I have the Pat McGrath Labs Blitz Trance lipstick. I chose the shade Full Fantasy. This Baby Lips lip liner is perfect for peaches. Ooh, It's so pretty. I love, love, love this tube. I love how it just glides on the lips. It is so silky smooth, almost like you're applying lip balm, but then you look and you're like, ooh, pigment. And the shimmer is very wearable. It is so subtle. I can't see it. I can barely see, but when I look up close, I can see it a little bit. Very teeny tiny bit, so you can't feel it. It's not uncomfortable whatsoever, but I think it helps to reflect a little light because it has that slight gold sheen underneath. And as it wears down, because I did wear this yesterday, and a few hours later, then I could really notice the shimmer. This is the complete makeup look, so I'm going to quickly share my thoughts on the new products that I talked about today. This foundation brush from Marc Jacobs, the Face One, I am completely obsessed. This might be my favorite foundation brush now, period. And I have several that I love, and I just generally rotate between them depending on what's clean. This I will keep clean because it just works so beautifully. It's all of the great stuff from the Face 3, but even better because the bristles, the little brush hairs aren't quite as dense, so I just love that it's slightly fluffier. It's synthetic, so it doesn't really steal a lot of your product. It just kind of blends it all over the face really fast. I like the longer handle. I think this is a bit easier. I don't know, it's more ergonomic. Yes, ergonomic, that's the word I'm looking for. It just feels a little bit better in the hand, and I feel like I can just quickly apply my makeup, no muss, no fuss. Love the brush. The lipstick is so beautiful. I'm obsessed with this gold sparkly packaging. I mean, this is just so pretty. If I can still pick them up for 25% off, I may invest in another 1 or 2 shades. I just think it's really pretty. They feel really nice on the lips. Now let's talk about this concealer here. Tarte Shape Tape, the one and only. I've heard so many great things about this concealer for years. I cannot believe it's taken me so long to try it. I couldn't resist the deal. I really like it. I think it blended out really beautifully. It gives coverage. I don't mind the finish. No signs of creasing whatsoever. And generally, if I'm filming a video and I'm kind of talking, moving my face, making expressions, it's the kiss of death for concealer. I know that a concealer is trash whenever I film with it because it'll just be a creasy mess. So far, it looks really smooth. No signs of creasing, just the little fine lines that I have on my face. Those aren't going anywhere. But I think it looks really nice. I lucked out with the shade as well. This fair beige looks really pretty. It gives me a little bit of brightness, but it's not too bright. Now let's talk about this palette. I drank the Kool-Aid. What can I say? I understand the hype. It's amazing. This is such a gorgeous palette. I completely understand now why people go crazy for her palettes. They're so much fun. I cannot wait to keep playing around with this. I'm sure I will come up with a lot of great different looks for evenings, date night, special occasions. And I kept the look pretty safe today. You know, the bronze and the browns. I didn't dip into the red. I didn't dip into some of the other shimmers, so you can certainly take this to a more extreme dramatic place if you want to. I think I picked out a great palette to be my first, and I can certainly see myself picking up 1 or 2 other palettes. Who knows, maybe in the future I'll pick up all of the new palettes going forward simply to review them. But if I were a consumer, if I did not have a YouTube channel for beauty and dedicated to reviews, I'm not sure I would really see the point in picking up multiple Pat McGrath Labs palettes. And hear me out, because it's nothing against the quality of these shadows, the quality of the palette, but there's just so much glitter. Now, if you're very creative and artistic with your makeup and you love creating dramatic sparkly eyes every single day, or that's something that you're constantly using, that's a totally different story. But I'm speaking about the average woman that I've met in a department store looking for makeup. I don't think she's the type of woman who is going to need to pick up all of these palettes unless she wants to. I mean, if you're a makeup collector, then you spend money on whatever you want to spend money on. It's beautiful to look at, and I will keep this close and try to use it as much as possible. I will not be picking this out for every single day. I would choose a couple of these palettes, maybe 2, maybe 3, go crazy, and that would be it. Because I just wouldn't be able to justify picking up more than that, I wouldn't use them. And that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it and you liked seeing all of these products in action. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I love hearing from you guys. If you have any thoughts about any of these products, definitely drop me a comment. I love hearing from you guys. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned, everything today on my face down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.